Hi everyone, and welcome to Achieve with Carolina Live. I'm Carolina Romaniuk, child and family sleep specialist and founder of Achieve with Carolina. So I help parents to get a good night's sleep and to understand their children's sleep needs better. So today's topic, we're going to be talking about how to help your baby sleep without rocking. I know that this is something really important, and usually when we have children, that we want to help them in any way possible to help them go to sleep. So we start implementing things. We start implementing methods, approaches, things that we don't see at that point in time that can become an association later on when they get older. And that usually is rocking or holding or feeding a lot when it's not needed. But one of the most popular ones is rocking to sleep. So I know when I had my first one. Hi Patricia, thanks for joining, guys. Hold on, let me see. Okay, so I know when I had my little one, what's going on here? Hold on, I got a piece of hair over here. Thanks Pamela. So like what I was saying, hey Angelica, when I had my oldest, Ari, I didn't know anything about being a mom. It was my first time ever around kids, infant wise, and I really didn't, I felt unprepared. And yeah, I knew how to feed, I knew how to diaper, I knew how to all that other stuff, but when it came to sleep, I really didn't know much. So I had people tell me, don't rock your baby, don't do this, don't do that. Hey, Bridget. Well, thank you. I'll tell my hubby that. Oh, he's actually on right now. Hey, Larissa. So I had to kind of learn with the flow in, being a first-time mommy. And for me and my husband, when we got married, we were the first ones to get married out of our group of friends and the first ones to have kids. So it was a lot. It was a lot to handle. And, especially in today's age when you are usually two working parents and, you have kids and then you have sitters and like all this other stuff. So anyway, getting to this topic, one of the first things that people would tell me, and meaning people, blogs, my mom, friends, everybody, strangers outside, don't rock your baby, don't hold your baby, don't do this, blah, 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 blah. So I was scared shitless, and I didn't touch my baby. I held him, but when it was time to go to sleep, I fed him, I burped him, into the crib he went, and that's it. I never held him, I never rocked him, I didn't do anything like that, because I was scared out of my mind, because people were telling me all these horrific stories of not being too affectionate with your little one because they're going to become attached to you. Oh my God, that's such bullshit. Because the first 4 months, once I went through my training, my intense training through the Family Sleep Institute on sleep, that the first 4 months of life, there's nothing you can do to create an association, to create an attachment. Luckily, when I had my second one, I knew better. So I kissed him, I hugged him, I snuggled up with him all the time, and I made up for it with my older one. Now he just tries to push me away. But I'm still gonna give him as many smooches as I want. But going back to the whole rocking thing, when you're having your firstborn, when you have your little one, it's important to have that bond, to have that connection. And don't listen to what other people start telling you. Love your baby, hug your baby, bond with your baby. After 4 months, that's when the body starts to create patterns. It starts to synchronize. It starts to understand cause and effect. It becomes more an adult sleep-like. And when that happens, then they become more aware of how they go to sleep. So if you are a new mommy, give me a high five, give me a like. Hi Yana. If you are a new mommy right now, or you are expecting and you are watching this video, please don't listen to what other people are telling you, that you can't bond with your baby by hugging them, kissing them, and while they have to go to sleep. It's your job and it's your duty to help your little one under 4 months of age to create the proper environment for them to fall asleep beautifully. Obviously, we can't sleep for them and we can't do it for them, but you can guide them. And by guiding them, you would need to create some sort of a environment for them that is replicating their first home, which is in your womb. Now, if you are watching this video and you have a child that is over 4 months of age, this is what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about a bunch of tips. I have 4 that is kind of going into where to begin and how to help you with this. So, going on to this, if we feel like it's our job to make our babies sleep, right? Most of us, when it is actually our job to create a healthy environment and to be patiently waiting for sleep to happen. Isn't that beautiful? I wrote that down earlier because I really wanted to get my thoughts onto paper and just to kind of explain to you guys the importance of this and to understand. Esther says, can you please make a video on 2-year-olds who aren't sleep trained and are still rocks? Wowzer, 2 years old, how do you hold them? But yeah, I'll do a video on that next. This is actually a question that I got from one of our viewers, and I'm going to be reading her question in 1 minute, but I wanted to really give that cue out. Also, crying is totally inevitable when you are dealing with change. It doesn't matter how old your child is. The younger, the more intense the cries are usually. But if you are planning on sleep training your little one, crying is inevitable. I know that they have all these methods that are saying no cry solution. I promise my child won't cry. They are BS. I don't want to say the full word, even though I already said it, but it's not possible. It's just not possible. What you can do is what these methods that market themselves as no cry solution or no cry method, or it's a gradual approach. What it means is that you can control how much crying your child is doing at that point in time by being present in the moment with them. That's what that means. Hey, Diana. So it doesn't mean that, oh my God, I'm going to choose this method because my little one is never going to cry. No, it's not going to work that way. If you have a child and they have a mouth, they're going to cry. When there's change that is occurring in anything, it doesn't matter if it's sleep. When there's change occurring, children cry because they don't understand what's going on next. They don't understand what the next approach is or what the next strategy is. And that's where we as parents have to come in and stay consistent. You got to stay consistent and you got to stay persistent. The older your child is, the more persistent they are, and you got to be on top of that. And I know that, us being as adults, we come home, we don't want to deal with that. We don't want to fight with our little ones to go to sleep. So we cave and we do whatever we have to do to get through that day. But what happens is tomorrow, you're going to repeat that same process that you're doing tonight, tomorrow, and then the following night, and then the following night. And then what happens? You wake up and your child is 2 years old and you're still rocking them like Esther is. And we're going to help you, Esther, on that and how to get rid of it, okay? So what we're going to talk today about is how to help your baby sleep without crying, okay? Now, let me open up this question. Okay, so I got a question from a mom, and this is why I wanted to talk about this today. I know I did a video like this similar before, but I wanted to answer this question because I think this question sums it up beautifully for a lot of us, okay? So, hi, Carolina. My name is Juliet, and I'm reading off my laptop. So, hi Carolina, my name is Juliet, and I have an 11-month-old daughter who's extremely intelligent and aware. I'm pretty sure we all got that. She is able to play by herself for long periods of time and is generally a very happy baby. Unfortunately, we have had some major sleep issues since she was 3 or 4 months old. She typically needs 3 to 4 naps per day. Wowzer, that's a lot. Each nap only lasting about a half an hour and about 12 hours of sleep per night. So Juliet has beautiful night sleep, but her naps suck. But the only way to get her to sleep is by rocking her to sleep. It can take anywhere from 15 to 90 minutes each time her arms must feel like they're gonna fall off of her. And she wakes up at least 3 times per night. She loves to be held, and if I hold her, she sleeps much better. My question is this: how can I help her become a better sleeper? Should I let her cry it out? Even though the last time we tried, she ended up crying on and off for hours. I have tried everything. What should I do next? Thanks so much for your help and insight. Sincerely, Juliet. So, Juliet, if you're watching, I love this question. Thank you for sending this to me, and I know that this is a really important topic for our parents, and your question actually resonates with a lot of us, especially me. So breaking this down, what I wanted to do is give you a couple of tips. So the first one is the plan, the sleep plan. It's very important, and when I start working with the family, the first thing that we do is obviously we create a plan. We create something that you know, let me just close this so it's not glaring light, is you know what to do. You have a step-by-step way in helping your little one fall asleep, right? When we come home from work, or when we're on a weekend and we're trying to put our little ones to sleep, most of us don't have a plan. You just wing it. And we also try in looking at their tired cues, and then we miss those tired cues, and those tired cues become overtired cues, and then there are tantrums that start falling into place. So the bottom line is you need to have a plan, and you need to know what is going to go into your plan. And I don't want you asking for advice from friends or mommy forums and see what has worked and pray that it works for you, because that's not how you properly do it. To write a plan, you have to do some research. Yes, you can ask people for advice, but you have to pick one that matches your parental philosophy and your child's behavior. What your best friend tried on her child is not necessarily going to work on you if your parental philosophy is you eat all organic foods and they don't. You know, you need to follow what you feel is right, what is in your household, and how you are instilling your parental duties onto your children and how you want to raise them. So a sleep training is just as important as that too. So making a plan, keeping a commitment. I need you to commit to whatever plan you are putting together. It's super duper important that you do that. You can say, I pledge, I commit that I am going to adhere to the sleep plan that I have created. Go ahead, you can do that if that makes you feel better, but you have to commit to your plan. If you start saying, you know what, Carolina, I'm gonna try this, I'm gonna wing it, see how it goes, I promise you, you're gonna fail. If you don't have a plan, and you don't have steps put into place, you're not going to achieve your goals. It's very rare that happens. So I want you to be committed to your sleep plan if you are ready to do this. And it's totally okay if you're not. If you kind of have one foot in the water, I mean like one toe in the water. I don't know what the saying is. Let's do one toe in the water, one toe out. I don't know. But you get the point. So you need to stay committed to your plan that you've created at least 5 days to see any type of a change. 1 day is not going to do anything. 2 days is not going to do anything. 3 days, maybe. Mostly not. You need 5 days to stay consistent with your sleep plan. Okay, next is the schedule. Now, you know how by now, if you guys are watching me babbling a lot, you know that the schedule is super, super important. Yes, there are times that we work off together that your body produces melatonin at its highest peak during the days for children. But what I want you to do is, I'm pretty sure that you already have an understanding in what times your little one does go to sleep and what times it's they get tired easily. I want you to watch those cues. Keep a diary for yourself. You'll start to notice that there's something around, you know, the time of the clock and the times that they get tired. Don't push things. Don't postpone it and say, you know what, I'm going to hold them over, or I'm going to have them skip a nap altogether and pray that maybe them skipping a nap, that they'll sleep during the entire night. That's not going to work. 99% of the time that backfires on people because you're not balancing the sleep. Sleep has to be balanced. It's beautiful. And when you balance sleep during the day and you have it nicely set up at night, everything flows nicely. If you're having night wakings, that means that there's several reasons in why that happens, but one main reason is that naps are not within their biological time frame, and they're just, all over the place, or they're not happening at all. So that is one main reason why that would happen. So watch the tired cues. Overtiredness can totally cause resistance to sleep. Now, if you start seeing, oh my God, my kid, they hate naps, or I can't put them down at this time because they're wired beyond belief, I want you to start watching their cues maybe a half an hour earlier than when they become wired, because their window can be this small when they're tired, and then they can go straight into being overexhausted. Once that happens, literally there's nothing you can do besides wait until the next cycle of melatonin raises. And that's not what you want to happen. You want them to hit at their optimal peaks and not become overexhausted and energized, and then they're just working on stress levels, okay? Moving on, the method. Ooh, it's a scary thing, right? Because there's so many different methods that are out there, and like Juliet was saying, is that she doesn't know if she should cry it out because she tried it before, and her daughter was just crying for hours and hours. It's inevitable. Whatever method that you use, again, crying is going to happen. What you need to figure out when you're using a method is, what do you feel comfortable with to begin sleep training. I never work with parents that we start one method and we finish with the same. The reason why I don't do that is because your child is changing. We tweak things along the way consistently. And when you begin your sleep plan, you want to use something that you are currently doing, but with an exit strategy, right? So what we would do is we would create a plan that you feel confident in, that you feel, oh my God, I can do this. I know I can stay consistent with this, and this is where we're going to begin. You start that way. And then, after a couple of days, you're going to see how the progression is going. So whatever method you choose, and there's so many of them, on the web, that you can just Google them, and they have the most gradual to the most direct, and they all work. They all really do work. Majority of them. But they do, the most popular ones. And all you have to do is just make sure that whatever one you pick, you feel confident that, bam, I can do this one. This is the one for me. If it's not, don't do it. Simple. Don't force yourself. Sleep training is not supposed to be something tedious. It's not supposed to be something horrific. It's not supposed to be something, oh my God, how am I going to do this? No, it's not. It's supposed to be a beautiful thing between you and your child. You're helping them learn how to sleep. And it doesn't have to be this, oh my God, I'm abandoning them. No, you're not. You're part of the process. What's going on is that for children, we try and do it for them, but we can't. We try and take their cries away, but we can't do that. If you try doing that, you're not giving them the proper sleep nutrition. You're not giving them the ample time to learn how to sleep, and it's a skill. It really is a skill that they have to learn. Just like they have to learn how to roll over, just like how they have to learn how to stand, just like how they learn how to talk, walk. It's a skill. Sleeping is a skill that they learn. And yes, we are built with it. We have to sleep. We're just genetically built to do that. But sleeping independently is a learned skill, and you are there to help them along the way. Next part, remembering to stay confident and positive. Shit can really hit the fan sometimes when you're sleep training, and it usually happens a week to 2 weeks into it, where children do regress. And I always mention this to my parents right before we start working together, is this is what you better expect, because I'm being really realistic with you. Hey, Abigail, there's nothing, fancy schmancy about the first week, because that's when everything starts changing. After that, things kind of settle down, and then it's more or less smooth sailing from there. But you have to be confident and you have to be positive the entire time. If there is a point within sleep training, you're like, I need to take a breather. I can't do this right now. Switch with your partner. Switch with whoever else is helping you. If you are doing this by yourself, there are so many mommy forums that are out there that you can vent with. You can vent with me, but if you are determined and you know that you need to get your sleep, then what I want you to do is to take time for yourself. Maybe you have to leave the room for a minute and take a breather. Just inhale and exhale. Just take deep breaths in and out. And then I want you to imagine how wonderful would it be if all you would have to do is put your little one down in their crib, in their own room, and give them a kiss goodnight. They roll over, go straight to sleep, and then you go into the living room or wherever you want to go and do your own thing. And that's it. And it's for the night. Just imagine that. Imagine how beautiful it would be. And it's not hard. All you have to do is stay consistent with it and just continue on doing it. If at any point you feel that you can't continue on, then contact me. Contact, a friend, or take a breather and just imagine what it would be like to get sleep. It's not that hard, but we do hit these breaking points. We hit these walls that usually happens a week into sleep training. And then you're like, shit, I can't continue on. This is too hard. I don't want to hear my baby cry. I can't figure this out. I don't know what's going on. That's what I'm here for. And this is why I'm doing these videos also, to help you guys. So just take a deep breath, take a breather. It's okay to do that for yourself. And just imagine how it would feel to just go to sleep the whole night by yourself, well, with your significant other. It would be beautiful, right? And the last part is results. What kind of results do you want? Make sure they are realistic. If your little one has been bed sharing with you since birth and they're feeding on a consistent basis and they're a year old and you want them sleeping in their own bed, in their own room without feedings anymore, and you want it done in 2 days, chances are that's not going to happen. That's not realistic. You need to set realistic goals for yourself, check off each goal that you go with, and see the progress that's being made on that part. And you will achieve your goals, but they need to be on realistic terms, not fantasy land. Okay? So that's what we got for you today. I hope this video was very informative. And now I see that we have questions, so I'm going to go one by one on that. Also, guys, if you feel that this video was super duper valuable and you learned a lot and it's important for other people, please feel free to share. And if you do know someone specifically, please, you can include their name on here and just highlight them so then they could watch this video later on. And if you are watching the replay, thank you so much. Just type in any comment that you have and I'll be able to respond to you within the time frame when you write a comment. So let me see who has questions. Okay. So Esther, I'm going to do a video on that for the 2-year-olds. I'll write that down in my notes and then I'll do that later on. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Let's see. Esther, your hubby is laughing because it just took him 2 hours. Oh, man. So I'm assuming that he was listening to me in the background. Eddie says, how long do you try the plan if it fails? So usually sleep training you do for 2 weeks. And you stay consistent for at least 1 week. Within 1 week, you should see some sort of a result. Something. It doesn't mean that you're going to achieve your fullest goals, but you should see something working within the goal that you want to happen. If it's not, then you have to reevaluate what you're doing and tweak some stuff. If you're still kind of like hitting a wall and you really don't know what's going on, then schedule a free sleep strategy session with me and then we can go through it together. And I always include my calendars at the top of all of these videos for you guys to use it. Use it. Schedule something with me if you have any questions, if you are trying to sleep train and it's not working, things are kind of falling apart, or you think you've tried everything. I'm pretty sure you have. but at the same time, I'm also pretty sure that you're missing things that all it needs are little tweaks. So use my schedule. Okay, let's see who else has questions. Esther, what do you think about giving melatonin drops to sleep better? Hells no. We don't want any type of drugs. Oh my gosh, you're gonna give me a headache right now. It's the same thing as when parents use Benadryl to put their kids to sleep. Why? Why would you? I love you. I love you, Esther, with all my heart. But please don't do that. Don't give medication to your children. First of all, melatonin is what your body makes. Why would you want to give excess of what your body makes? Doesn't need it. Unless there's a medical reason, and it has to be a really, really good medical reason for a doctor to prescribe melatonin pills. Really good reason. And most of the time, you can just fix it with proper sleep hygiene. But please, please, guys, I'm begging you, don't use any type of medication, no matter what the hell the bottle says. If it says it's natural, it's organic, I don't care. You should not be providing medication to your children to help them go to sleep, because what happens is then you get addicted to it, giving it to them because it's an easy way out, and then their body gets addicted to it, and then their body becomes immune to it, and then what do you have to do? You're going to have to increase the dosages. And you haven't fixed the actual foundation, the real problem in why you are giving them the melatonin or the Benadryl or whatever else is needed for that time frame. So you don't need to resort to that. Okay, hope that answered your question. I know it answered your question, actually. Hey, Abigail, you said you came to this video late, but I heard you saying dreading to put my kid to sleep, and I'm smiling now because that's all May. Yeah. Yeah, I know that, at what age should, okay, Diana, you're saying at what age should we start this plan? By 4 months adjusted, you should start a sleep plan. Prior to that, you're just wasting your time. There's nothing that you can do except feeding on demand. Yes, there are people that saying, oh, okay, you can put your baby on, like a 3-hour schedule, feeding wise. It can work. Sometimes it can't work, but you could try it. Don't force it, because closer towards 4 months, that's when everything starts to sink, and then you will start to see patterns. If your baby has to be fed on demand, if they're sleeping in small spurts throughout the time, that's just how they are at that point. I would want you to look into, maybe they have reflux, maybe something medically is going on internally, that they are having really, really short naps and they are waking a lot at night. So we would kind of want to, dig a little deeper in that. But ideally, you would want to start at 4 months on that. Thanks, Natalie. So Abigail says, I literally shake when it's time to put my daughter to sleep. She used to be good, but once she turned 12 months, got sick, and that is everything changed in her sleep habits. Her eating and rocking and shushing and outside is the only way it can take hours. Oh, I'm sorry, honey. Thanks for the comment on my hair. But wow, this is really difficult for you. And I could read it, the heartache, and you probably have anxiety also when the sun starts going down, because you have to put your little one to sleep. And I want you to know that you're not alone. This happens to a lot. And I've actually worked with a couple of moms recently that had this case. So what I want you to do, Abigail, please contact me. Let's talk, one-on-one. It doesn't have to be live on Facebook, and I really want to help you. Let's at least put a strategy together for you and to get you situated on this. There really should be no reason in why you feel anxious and you shake when bedtime is approaching. It shouldn't be that difficult, okay? Please, just use my calendar and schedule something with me, okay? Yeah, see, Abby, you're not alone. Unfortunately, yeah, I know you have anxiety. Sleep, when you're not getting sleep, all hell breaks loose, and I've been there too. so your emotions just run amok. But I really want you to contact me and we can put something together. Just know that you're not alone on this, and this, unfortunately, this, you know, many of us go through this. I mean, I went through this too myself, and it's hard, but you need to have a team and you need to have someone that can guide you through this. It's totally possible. I can vouch for it because I've helped so many moms get through it, and they were in much worse conditions than what you described, and I would be honored if you would let me help you with that. Let's see. Yeah, Esther is telling Abigail to start now before she gets older. Anita, my son is waking as we speak. Oh boy. Maybe you should put me in their room and then I could just go, shh, go to sleep. Wouldn't that be cool? Okay, so are there any more questions, my lovelies? This choker is choking me. Stella. Abigail says hypnosis. Okay. Let's see. Stella says, my 11-month-old slept very well until recently. She would fall asleep on her own. Now it's hard for her to sleep. I need to pat her back and she wakes up a few times a night crying, and I have to give her a passy and pat her back. Okay, so Stella, there are a couple of ways that you can go away from this, but one thing is if she's waking up at night, I would want to know why she's waking up at night. So I would look into her nap schedule and her bedtime. If it's nice and she takes nice long naps, she does sleep right away after you finish that whole process, is I would look to see how I would go about eliminating the need for the touch and the need for the pacifier. If you need to keep replugging her with the pacifier and that's why she's waking up most of the time, I would suggest for you to eliminate the pacifier if that's one of the main reasons in why she's waking up. Natalie says mine wakes up 10 times at night. Wow, that's a lot. Natalie, how are you functioning, honey? This is, hey Karen, that's a lot, Natalie. 10 times. You should contact me too, and we should get this figured out. At least a starting session for you on what to do to get rid of these 10 night wakings. That's wow, that's a lot, honey. Hey Doris. Natalie says she went to bed at 7, woke up 3 times since. What do I do? She's 13 months. Okay, so Natalie, I need to see what her schedule is like during the day. At the beginning of this video, I was talking about how nighttime is a reflection of daytime sleep. So if it's not balanced, if sleep is not balanced, then that is why a child is waking up consistently, plus the environment as well. So that is important. Again, guys, please use my calendar. I have opened slots for you, for all of you to use it. Use it, use it, use it. Schedule something with me so we can get this situated. There's no need in sitting there waiting and praying, oh my gosh, to the sleep gods, please let tomorrow be a better night. It doesn't work that way. I wish it did. It doesn't work that way. You really need to be proactive in this and you need to do something. So please schedule something with me so we can get down to this. I really need to look at sleep diaries. There's a whole process to this. I can't just regurgitate info and hope that it solves your case. I really want to go one by one with all of you to give you the proper time and to give you the proper information. Okay, so Natalie, schedule something with me, and I'm going to tell you I need a sleep diary, so I hope you keep one. Okay, let's see who else got questions. Stella, I'm not sure if it's teething. No, it's not teething. Teething is a what's the word? An excuse. Teething doesn't really affect sleep significantly. It affects it if a child doesn't have the proper sleep foundation. Then it affects it. But most cases it doesn't. So wakes up, she goes to sleep at 7, wakes up at 6:30. She falls asleep pretty quickly. But I would want to know, what is her daytime sleep like? So that's a pretty good schedule though. But you said that she wakes up often. So that would mean something going on during the day. Doris, my son is gonna, hold on, let me open this up. Okay. What time is it? Okay. Just making sure we got good timing. My son is gonna be 8 months on the 7th. He still has to be swaddled to sleep, and he has a hard time falling asleep. He cries and cries till somehow comfortable, then goes to sleep. It's like a half-hour process. Okay. So Doris, first off, swaddling gotta go. You can look into, they have so many different products right now that are transitions. You can look into a Zippity Zip. They have those. Those are awesome for transitioning from a swaddle to independent sleeping. They have well, I don't think the Merlin suit is going to go for you right now, because I think they cut it off around 8 or 9 months. But you can still look into that. I would still want to look into the Zippity Zip for you. Hold on one second, guys. Okay, so I would want you to look into the Zippity Zip for yourself, and to see how that helps with the sleeping, because right now he needs his full arms to roll over. So what you have been doing is keeping him like cocoon-liked, and it's not helping him with the whole safety process that he needs to be fully mobile in his crib on that part. If it takes him if it's a half-hour process, he's probably fighting it, and you need to look into a different approach in how you're going to help him go to sleep. So the first thing first is I would want you to get him out of the swaddle, look into the Zippity Zip, or look into other products. Thanks guys for liking and for loving. Aw, love you guys. Look into that and then see how that helps. Also, the environment is very important, and his schedule. But the first thing that I would want you to do is to eliminate the swaddle. That's your step 1. After that, contact me. You have my calendar. Let's set something up, and then we'll figure out what to do to help with minimizing this process. But the first part is to get out of the swaddle. That's really, really important, and you need to focus on that first. Okay? Brooke says, my daughter goes, let me open. My daughter used to go down in the crib, no problem. 6 months rolled around in the crib, became the devil. No matter what I do, I cannot get her back down into the crib no matter what. She's now 7 months old and a month of restless sleep. And her sleeping in the rock and play, she's going to outgrow it quickly. I don't know what to do anymore. Okay. So you're trying a lot of things, Brooke, and it seems that you are testing the waters to see where or what your daughter is going to like, and to give you a clue. So ain't gonna happen. It's not like she's gonna say, hey mom, I love the rock and play, I'm gonna sleep here, oh this is so exciting, thank you so much. No, it's not gonna work that way. What's gonna happen is that she is going to go off of your emotions and your energy level. So if you are nervous about bringing her to the crib, that's what's gonna happen. She's gonna be nervous being put in the crib. So if your goal is for her to sleep in the crib and not in the rock and play, I would get rid of the rock and play and maybe use it during the day when she's active, and like if you have to do chores or something around the house, and just kind of prop her in there for a short period of time. But sleeping should be ideally in a crib, for a mattress, fitted sheet, and the baby. You can put a sleep sack on her, or actually no more swaddling because she's 7 months old. So rolling around is good, because 7 to 8 months, that means she's going to be sitting up, and that she needs to roll around. She needs that energy. Once she masters that technique, it'll be easier. If you're having a problem that you said, if I cannot get her back down into the crib no matter what, so we would need to stay consistent with putting her into the crib. Think of it I got 1 week for myself. She's gonna be in that crib. That's it. That's all you gotta do, is stay consistent. It can take a while, but if that's what your end goal is, that's what you're gonna do. And she's not gonna sit down in the crib or, you know, the rock and play like I mentioned, and just say, hey, this is fantastic. Oh, I love this. Just give me a little blanket and I'm gonna go straight to sleep. No, it doesn't work that way. Kids don't do that. They go off by what you tell them. So if you want your daughter to be sleeping in the crib, we need to put a plan together, or you need to put a plan together for yourself in how you're going to do that. But the main thing is not using that rock and play anymore, and helping her be put into the crib, but you being present in that room. So find a method that you can stay consistent with and you feel comfortable in using, that makes you part of the process when you're there in the room with her while she's going to be in the crib. Okay? So, thanks, Karen. Anita. Oh, Abigail, I'm happy that I'm making you crack up. Anita, my 5-month-old wakes up for a couple of sips of his bottle, then goes back to sleep and does that every hour. Okay, so it sounds as though your little one is just using the bottle as a crutch, as an association to help him go back to sleep. I would put in strict 2 feeds, maybe 3, depends on how they're eating. And the rest of the time you can maybe give a passy to use like as a dummy effect on it, and create structured feeds. There shouldn't be so many. That's a newborn schedule. That's younger than a newborn schedule, every 2 hours. I would also want to know how they're feeding, and how big is the nipple in the bottle. If it's too small, then maybe because your little one is sucking so much on it that they just get tired and then they just give up, and then they wake up later on to drink more. So what I would do is I would make manually a bigger hole, unless you could find one that has a second size, like second stage. But be careful about it, because when my kids were little, I went up a stage within the nipple size, but the hole was so freaking big, it was like a waterfall. So what I did is I took a needle, I sterilized it, and I took the nipple and I made like where the hole was, I just made it a little bit bigger, and it was fine. There was no rubber or anything that was protruding through. I made sure that it was nice and safe. Then I sterilized the nipple, and the flow was a lot better. So they were getting, the boys were getting a lot more intake, and I knew that they were eating better. So then I had the feeds scheduled that way. But you need to have a scheduled feed for yourself. You can't just randomly keep giving your little one every 2-hour feeds. There has to be a reason and why they're eating that much. Also, there might be reflux with that too, that they're eating so frequently because they can't eat enough during that first intake. So there are a couple of things that I would want you to look into. Okay, and if you do have any questions, please use my calendar, my schedule, because I open up openings for you guys specifically. Abigail, you pray every night. Aw. Okay, well, I'm happy that I'm making you laugh, but it ain't gonna work. So we gotta be proactive about it, okay? So I'm waiting for Abigail's email. I'm gonna start following up with you if I don't get a schedule from you. Okay, Natalie says, Abby, welcome to the club. Hey. There's no club for this. No sleep deprivation better be going on my watch. Okay, let's see. Stephanie says, my 11-week-old. Oh, congratulations, Stephanie. You can welcome to the club. My 11-week-old will occasionally sleep through the night, but more often than not, she will wake at least once. Not sure why it's different every night. I try and follow the same schedule as best as I can. So, Stephanie, I think you came in a little bit late into this video. Please watch the beginning because I kind of explain what's going on here. So before 4 months of age, before 16 weeks adjusted, meaning closer towards the due date of when your baby was born, that there are no organized patterns formed prior towards 4 months. So you really trying to stick to a schedule is just wasting your time, and you're going to get gray hair. No need to do that, because then you're going to have to color it like I did. And it's not going to work for you. So what you should do is just go with the flow. Don't stress about it. Once your little one turns 16 weeks, then you will start to notice there will be a pattern, because prior to that, most kids don't have patterns. If they do, you're genuinely just lucky if they do have that, because biologically they only start forming patterns closer towards 4 months of age, and prior to that it just doesn't happen. So if your little one is having patterns one day, the next day they get thrown off, it's just because that's just how it is. So don't beat yourself up about it, don't stress about it, and things will be perfect. If you do have any questions, you always know where I am, and you can contact me. Okay, so I'm gonna take a couple of more, and then I gotta go to bed. I got an early day tomorrow. Hi, Laranat. Doris says, hey, Simona. That's my cousin, guys. Hold on. I know he keeps taking his passy out of his mouth when his arms are free, so he can't sleep without it. During the day, he has to sleep in his coat. Okay, so Doris, we got a lot going on here. If he takes his passy out of his mouth, his arms have to be free. That's one. You can't keep swaddling him. You can't keep, he's of age. So you need to get that out of the way. If you get the zippity zip, or if you put gloves on him, some parents don't like gloves, they put socks on, use that. Then he can't take out the pacifier. If it spits out, it could spit out when he's swaddled too. So I would look into that, and you know, go with it that way, because you really have to work on safety first when it comes to sleep. Also, there is such a thing as sleep safety. Let's see. Wow, Abigail, that is crazy. Your daughter falls asleep when you put the coat on her because she thinks that she's going outside. Well, that just means that she's really, really, really smart, and she catches on to patterns really quickly, and that's a really good thing. That's actually for your benefit, because once you put a plan together and you stay consistent to it, it can actually take you a really quick time, because your daughter knows cues. So once you put a plan together, it can take you relatively fast to just execute it, as long as you can stay consistent with it and, you know, follow through. What I feel that you need is more as in coaching, that you can do it and go with it, because it seems as though you're so exhausted and you're so distraught with trying a lot of things that you've kind of given up on it, and you're just praying for that one day that it'll happen, that she'll just snap out of it, and it's very difficult, and you might be doing this for a very, very long time, and we don't want that to happen, because you need your sleep. If you're not getting your sleep, then your family's not getting the optimal mommy and the optimal wife that they deserve and that they know that they can have, and you're not your optimal self. So we need to get you sleeping just as much as we need to get the rest of the family sleeping. Oh, my pleasure, Brooke. Oh, it makes me feel all warm and toasty inside. Okay, Ina says, what would you suggest if 2.5-year-old wakes up often throughout the night? Okay, so Ina, I'm going to write this down when we get off. I'm going to do that tomorrow. So I'm going to be talking about, I'll talk about toddlers tomorrow, because there's a couple of people on here that have questions on that. So I'll do that. Those are usually things that are called, it just slipped my mind. Curtain calls. Those are curtain calls. So like asking for toys, asking for music, asking for water, asking to go to the bathroom, asking for one more book, asking for you to stay. Those are called curtain calls. So we can go into that tomorrow, and how to kind of get away from that a little bit. Thanks, Luva. Okay, yeah, well, no, Abigail, she's not too smart for you. She's just smart, and that's good, and you want to use that towards your fullest benefit. Okay, so you also said, I think I'm exhausted and giving up. Good to know. I will be emailing you soon. Yeah, you are giving up. I could hear it. I could hear it while you're writing it. And we don't want you to give up. So that's it for tonight. Abigail, I'm waiting. If I don't get your message, I'm going to be very pissed. Okay. My pleasure, Stella. So if there are no more questions, I'm going to go to sleep. I need my Z's too. Doesn't help anyone having a sleep-deprived sleep consultant, huh? So tomorrow we will chat about same thing, but for toddlers. And if you have any specific topics, feel free to comment or private message me. Okay? Sweet dreams, everyone. Love you. Mwah. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.